To sign up with Zola and receive a $50 credit towards your registry, go to zola.com/braincandy. And for 25% off your first order, visit rxbar.com/candy and enter promo code CANDY at checkout. Greetings.
Hello, Suze.
Right before we started, this is episode 238.
Yeah.
I was eating a cracker.
Yeah.
Because Sarah got me in the mood with Ritz mentions in the previous episode.
I know, so I had to go raid your pantry.
And Sarah said she loves chewing.
Yes.
And it reminded me that I'm writing an article for The Observer about ASMR.
Okay. You waited to tell me about this.
I truly forgot.
This is like the ultimate information you could be gifting me right now. Tell me everything.
If you're not familiar with ASMR, Sarah, why don't you tell them about it?
It is autonomic sensory meridian response.
Autonomous, I think.
Autonomous? Oh, autonomous. Yeah, as in you can't control it. Right.
Uh-huh.
And it's really like what I've read is that it's a hypersensitive vagus nerve where you are able to, it's almost like there are certain noises, certain sounds that will stimulate a part of the brain that gives you those warm, fuzzy feelings that you can only really describe as it feeling like the same kind of feeling you get when you get a good hug or when you get a massage, but you can get those exact same feelings just by listening to certain things.
And you claim that you have that.
I for sure do.
And when did you discover it?
Oh, gosh, probably about 2 or 3 years ago. I think it's when the ASMR scene really came out. Scene. It is a scene.
What is the scene?
I hang out with my ASMR friends, people who also have the same thing, and we will go back and forth. We're like, oh, my gosh, do you like this person? Do you like this person? Do you like this person?
You mean the celebrity?
Yes,
the
they're
ASMR
like
artist.
ASMR. Yes!
That's what they call themselves.
Yeah.
And our friend Mariana
Yes.
has dived into the scene herself.
Yep.
And I go, oh, so what sounds do you like? And she goes, mostly unintelligible whispers.
Because that's literally what you Google to get.
Right. And I was like, okay, now I need to know everything because that's hilarious. And if you don't have ASMR, then it does sound very silly and bizarre.
Yeah.
And
Olivia Kisper, that's one of my favorite people.
You're kidding.
Like whisper, but with a kiss.
Oh, my God.
And she has an accent, so I love an accent
A
when
lot
I
of
do
people are real into the accented artists.
Yes.
And
oh, my God.
so I started listening to these videos or watching them.
Doesn't do anything for you or what?
No.
Oh, my God. That's so weird to me. It's weird that it doesn't, like, because it's such a...
I get what it is,
such
but I
a
don't have
feeling.
any physical response.
I mean, it's so strong and it feels so good that there's a part of me that's like,
what ones do you like?
I like hair brushing. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. I'm like getting good feelings just thinking.
Wait, did they brush hair or did they play with the hairbrush?
Brush hair is the one I want, but play with the hairbrush is another one. I can go. The best videos are the ones where they'll do a bunch of different sounds because it's like find out which sound you are, and it's like a trigger video, like a trigger-inducing video that's like a modge podge of them, and I love that. But
Why
I also
is
like
it
the
though?
scenes. I like the scenarios where it's like
what? Okay, yeah, that's
Yes.
another part. There's role playing.
I do like the role play,
and they'll be like,
I like role playing for like ear cleaning, weird shit like that.
What?
Because having your ear cleaned is the most exciting, most fun.
How do you role play that though?
They just talk about it and then they do some noises that sound like somebody doing a Q-tip or working something in your ear, and it feels so good.
And so they go like this. So this is like what a video will sound like.
Oh my God, I'm going to die.
You won't like it because
I
I'm not an artist.
Well,
but
beg to differ.
she'll come on. It's always a lady, and she comes on and she's like, "Hi." Are you kidding me?
It works. It totally does.
But then
Keep
she'll
going.
talk into like
and then
different
kind of
parts
make mouth
of the
noises, would you?
Right.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "You might notice that I make clicking noises whenever I whisper." But
oh my God, you need to record this for me. This is working hardcore. I think there's something about us having a relationship too that's like making it feel extra good. this is like...
Are you serious?
I am for sure. It feels
but it's
like
not
a scalp.
sexual.
No, it's not that kind of feeling. Okay, have you ever used one of those scalp massage things that's like a little metal? It looks like a claw machine, and they're designed, they're like scalp massagers, and they feel really good, and you can... Or if somebody massages the back of your scalp, those feelings that you get, that almost like all over body chill, that's what I get when you talk like that.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
And then they always will
This seems like hypnotism, practically. Like Susie could do this to me and I would be under her complete control.
It's really fascinating, though, to learn about, because there are elements that feel hypnosis-like.
Yeah.
There are elements that feel spiritual, like transcendent for people, because it puts them in a bit of a trance.
That's how I get. Oh, I'm like fixated. Like you can like snap in front of me and I'm like in a zone.
So, and you think this is like healthy behavior?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
you make me feel like maybe it's not.
No, I just think that I wish there was more conversation about like, is this something that if you have it, you should work against or move towards? Because nobody really wants to talk about that.
I would move towards.
Well,
I
that's
feel
what
like
everyone would
say. It increases empathy.
Oh, really?
I think it's an empathy thing. Like, I think it's an ability to picture yourself in that other person's position. And because I also feel like I think about how good it feels to make somebody else feel good, and then they're doing that, and I'm like double. It's weird. It like, I can't even describe it, but it just feels like everybody's good.
It does feel, though, like any hobby where if you spend hours a day watching these videos...
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, and that is what happens. And the girl in this one interview on NPR...
become addicted to that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a dopamine surge. Okay, I can understand how that can turn into...
Yeah. And
what did she say?
She was like saying to her boyfriend, well, you spend time on the internet doing nothing for hours.
Totally
so
true.
What's the difference? And he would say, well, I'm learning things or reading things or,
Part of me thinks that maybe we don't take enough time, like, to... Studies show that having free time where you can just relax your brain, where you're not constantly stimulated, is what we're all really craving. And we almost like...
I know, I take that on board.
We almost like have this we think that more and more and more is going to fill that need, but it's really the opposite, where it's just like, you know what? We just need time away from it. Yeah. And then to like reset everything. Okay. And so that's kind of what I feel like it does for me. And my brain is so busy at nighttime, it's the only thing that shuts it down.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's the only thing that helps them go to sleep.
And I put on that video and I set it right on my chest, and I have, oh my God, I even went so far as to get, what are they called?
You told me that. They're special earphones.
I've got earphones that look like a headband. They're like fabric. Mm-hmm. It looks like you're wearing a sweatband over your head. Yeah. But they're like nice and soft, so you can sleep on your side, because earbuds hurt.
Yeah. Right. She solved that problem.
Yeah. Only $11 on Amazon.
She put it on when we were in San Francisco and we're sharing a hotel.
Oh my God, did I?
Yeah. Remember it was the one where, well, I don't know if they all do this, but it went from the top of the head to the toes. And in the morning, Sarah was like, what did you think? I'm like, I didn't get past the hair. Yeah. Like I was asleep in 2 seconds.
That one's different. That's a guided meditation for, what do they call it? They call it, progressive muscle relaxation. That's an actual mindfulness treat. Like that's in the mindfulness category versus like it's not sound based. It really is you doing it to yourself. Like you're doing all the work.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
It's great. Okay. That's part of UCLA's Mindfulness Center videos.
Well, the one funny thing that I learned during my research for this article was about how the sort of name ASMR was rather recent, like 2007-ish, where someone said, here's a thing and we'll call it this. Yeah. And a lot of people never had a name for it, but all knew that they really loved Bob Ross, the painter.
Oh my God, I get goosebumps even if you just say his name.
And like that he was like an ASMR artist before there was such a thing.
Yep.
Because he was empathetic and quiet and whispery, breathy. Yes. But then there was also the noise of the tools, which was
I'm thinking about it. I only have to think about it and it works.
Wow.
Dude.
Good for you.
You're just describing it well.
But I guess I enjoyed the joy of painting as well, but you guys have a different experience that's more of a full body moment.
Totally. I don't even give a crap about what he was painting. I just wanted, just talk to me, Bob.
I also learned that was a perm that he had.
Oh.
I thought it was a Jufro or something.
Me too.
And it turned out like he was super hot and he was in the military. And then when he got out, he decided to get a perm because he thought then he'd never have to like cut his hair again.
Yeah.
And he had regrets.
About the perm?
Yeah, because it became like a thing.
Oh, then
and then
he can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a mustache or something.
Yeah, it was his signature look. Yeah. And it probably did hide the stud that he truly was.
You know, but I wonder if I would have liked it as much if he was like...
True.
I was also attracted
That's
to him.
A good point.
It's like, it's safe.
That is such a good point. Another good point, though, is how if you do have old videos or photos or anything,
oh my God, yes,
you should get them digitized.
Yes,
because
we can find out if this is multi-generational. Do you have your grandmother on videotape you can let me listen to?
Right, we could check her ASMR with all your old digital things. Legacy Box is such a great service. Most of us have VHS or those old reels of home videos that you never watch because you don't have the things that allow you to do so. Mm-hmm. And my mom is one of those people. She has so many albums of pictures, but nothing's digitized, so we never even get to see them. And so I got her Legacy Box as a gift, which is kind of like a gift to myself.
Yeah.
Because, it's all my pictures from my childhood.
Oh, my God.
And it's such an awesome company that helps you take those memories and get them put onto DVD or a little thumb drive.
That's what I did.
Yeah?
It's the best. I told you I got the ones from like my mom when she was like 4.
That's so nice.
She looks totally the same.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe you could show them to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I should.
Yeah, we should share. Karen share.
Yes.
And there's never been a better time to digitally preserve your old home movies, film reels, and photos. Visit legacybox.com today to get started. Plus, for a limited time, they're offering our listeners a huge exclusive discount. Go to legacybox.com/braincandy and you get 40% off your first order. With this exclusive deal, Legacy Box starts at just $45 or save up to $200 on the largest Legacy Box kit, depending on like how much stuff you have to digitize. Go to legacybox.com/braincandy and save 40% today. Start with just a few tapes or digitize your entire collection. Visit legacybox.com/braincandy, enter our code BRAINCANDY, and save 40% on your Legacy Box today. Get started preserving your past.
This reminds me of this really cool BuzzFeed article that I read recently. Mm-hmm. It was titled 31 Things That Belong in a Museum. They're family heirlooms that straight up belong in a museum.
Oh, interesting.
Suze, I had no idea just how interesting it would be. Hearing these stories are so cool.
Tell me.
One woman had, her grandmother was one of the first deputy sheriffs in 1950, and she had her badge, which is just so cool. The look, like this woman who looks so stoic and so badass. You think of a woman in 1950s on the police force, what kind of woman this would be. Mm-hmm. And she just like, I'm going to show you the picture that doesn't do any justice for everybody watching.
Oh, wow.
But you have to join our newsletter, so make sure you're subscribing.
She's cool.
Real cool, right? One of the other ones I thought was really cool was a ball of yarn. The story says, my dad grew up in central Alabama with no running water and a difficult home life. His grandmother took over raising him until she passed. She was an elderly war widow and had nearly nothing, but my dad credit her with saving his life. Although they were poor, my grandmother saved enough to buy him a baseball glove, but couldn't afford the ball to go with it. Instead, she rolled the ball up out of her own homespun yarn for him to play with. He held onto it and passed it down to me. And this ball of yarn is like the cutest looking thing you've ever seen. Then you just think of all the stories that go with it. You know, there was one woman who shared a story. She has a bush of ivy that was her great-grandmother's clippings from Norway when she escaped the war, and the grandmother wanted something from her homeland, so she saved a piece of ivy in like a box or bag and nurtured this ivy and was like, I'm going to save something from the homeland, and grew it into this whole thing, and then took a clipping and gave it to all of her grandchildren, who then grew it into their ivy. And I'm like,
that's cool.
And it looks like ivy that doesn't looks like it's from Norway and really cool. One woman had her great-great-uncle ran away to join the circus, and he was a tightrope walker, and she inherited his tightrope walking chest of all of his goodies.
Wow.
Isn't that cool stuff?
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to put that in the newsletter where you can read all 31, other ones that will just
what would you put in there?
Oh, my God, good question. And my question to you was going to be, do you have an heirloom that is like your favorite? Okay. It's got to be something from my grandmother. My grandmother's dish set, I think, it's been in a couple generations, but the story in our family was that whenever it was used for holidays, rather than like washing dishes like a normal family or putting the dishes out like a normal family, their tradition was to throw all the plates like Frisbees to each other and catch them and then put them on the down.
Of course your family would do that.
So the fact that I have a complete set of dishes that were chucked like Frisbees across the room to be washed.
That's so
is
great.
Awesome
it's
to
a
me.
Miracle. Wow. Well, poor people don't have the same kind of heirlooms as
right. They have the ball of yarn.
Yeah. And so a lot of like the white trash Christmas decorations.
Yes. Oh, those are cool.
They bring back memories.
Totally. Did you have like a light up Santa, that plastic light up Santa?
We didn't, but I do know which one you mean.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were around the neighborhood.
I probably were.
We had tons of decorations. My brother took one. There was this candle. It had to be made with toxic stuff because it still smells. Yeah. So it's definitely
guaranteed
shouldn't be around the house, but my brother took it because it's like one of those things. As soon as you got it out, you knew it was Christmas,
Oh, I love that.
I like stuff like that. But we didn't have a lot of stuff otherwise. My grandma had a fully operational, perfectly beautiful Victrola.
Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
Tall, full piece of furniture, but my cousin got it. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Because how awesome would it be?
You know what? You got to make sure you hold on to that banjo.
Oh, that's nice.
Because Lincoln's going to really want that someday.
He doesn't seem to care about it now.
Well, that's how it kind of goes with all heirlooms until, the time comes.
True. Did I ever tell you about the time when I was finishing grad school?
I love any story that starts with, did I ever tell you about the time?
My dad, who is probably a sociopath, I don't know the correct diagnosis, but he's not a good dad. And he wanted to get me something when I was finishing my doctorate.
Oh, yes, I've seen this.
This is the thing, though, with sociopaths is they try to mimic humans. They try to do what they think a human would do. Mm-hmm. And so he wanted to get this glass bell made and put like Dr. Susie Meister, PhD on it and all this stuff. And when he finally brought it over, he was mad at my mom about something, and he basically like threw it at me like the box. And I opened it up, and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much. That was so nice." He's like, "It's a bell, like school bells. Get it?" And I was like, "Thank you." Yes, and now I have this dumb thing, and I'm like, that is always a problem. Like, what do you keep? And what do you not?
Yeah, what do you keep and not?
Like, they say it should spark joy.
Oh.
That does not, although the story's funny.
Yes, so maybe you need to hang on to that just for story's sake.
And yeah. But then you think, would you miss it? Don't you have stuff like this?
Yeah.
Where you're like, is it the right thing to keep it or to throw it away?
It's when it's one of those heirloom things and something like that has a story behind it, I think you got to hold on to it.
It's a bell.
It's a bell, for school.
Like school bells. Get it? Like, thanks, Dad.
That's
okay,
funny.
Let me move on. I read an article in the New York Times about figuring out what that smell is at thrift stores that is the same.
Oh, my God. It is the same everywhere. So, like, does collective BO all smell the same?
More or less.
Dirt.
It's like collective humanness.
Oh, I'm so grossed out.
But okay, so let's unpack it because I'm fascinated by this.
Okay, because I'm wondering, used furniture store doesn't smell like this,
or people's houses.
Okay, other good point.
Why do our houses smell fine?
But do
mostly. I mean, most people's houses don't stink like a thrift store.
That's true. The other day, however, I wore I'm at school for so long and it's so hot there that sometimes I'm like, I got to have a second shirt, a backup shirt in case I sweat through the first. And so I had this shirt and I like put it in the back room and the gals in my cohort, they were like, hey, whose sweater is this back here? One of the girls picked it up, smelt it and goes, oh, it's Sarah's. And they were like, oh, it has Sarah's smell. And I was like, what is my smell? And they were like, no, it ended up being like a perfume that I like. Well, because I then I had to sniff the shirt like I was like a
who would
bloodhound. I was like, what do I smell like?
Oh, that's so funny. And like, did you smell it?
I went into a sheer because I was I got a text like, hey, did you leave your shirt back here? And then I said yes. They were like, oh, haha, we thought it was yours. It smelled like you. And then
that's a terrible text.
A wave of panic came over me that was like, I'm the BO girl. I am the stinky girl at school. That must be it. There's always one of them, and if you don't know who it is, it's probably you. And so that's what I was thinking.
Wow.
Turns out I just smell like Tom Ford perfume.
But why would that girl take the chance and sniff
we're
like
good
that?
enough friends to where...
But she didn't know it was yours.
I think maybe I smell strong enough to where they knew it just holding it up.
Well, hey, could be worse.
I also am known for not wearing deodorant.
Well, apparently a lot of people are because when
what's happening?
They sent some stuff off to the lab.
As they do. Like the same cilantro and asparagus lab.
From the thrift store. And the descriptors that the scientists found in the clothing were the following.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so glad that this is not going to be the new car smell story.
Nope.
Okay, tell me.
Sweet, sour, oily, herbal, fatty.
You're just describing good joints right now.
Whiskey?
That makes me nervous. There's a significant portion of the alcoholic community who's donating close to the Goodwill.
Nutty.
Like what kind? Balls?
Both. What if they said that?
Sweaty balls?
Both food and body.
Both food and body nuts.
Cheesy.
Also food or body?
Sweaty.
That's a given. That's like my clothes.
Stinky feet.
Okay.
Fermented.
Oh, gross.
And finally, bready.
Ew, is that like yeasty?
I'm assuming. Because these are like, how they have flavor profiles? These are scent profiles.
Please, that's the worst. So you combine all those together, and instead of getting Chanel No. 5, you get Goodwill numero uno. This just in, your thrift store smell like shit.
Where do you come up with this stuff? Instead of Chanel No. 5, Goodwill numero uno. Oh, for Pete's sake, that's so funny, Sarah.
God.
They did have a tip, however, for if you have clothing from the thrift store that even after you wash it,
I
there's
know
a
what the
problem.
answer is. Soak it in white vinegar. Is
No.
that the answer?
No.
No. But that really works. I was like, if I guess this, I'm going to get so many cool points.
That's probably a good
Because I recently
though.
researched how to get rid of that sweat smell, and that is the only answer.
Well, you should try this.
What is it?
Bury it in kitty litter.
Oh, my God. That seems like it's going to cause a whole bunch of new problems. Who's got that much kitty litter?
I think they mean fresh kitty litter because it activates charcoal, I guess, in there.
Oh, and it just absorbs it. Could you imagine? You
No.
do the Goodwill sweep, and you're like, hang on, guys, got to bury it first. These will be ready in a week.
Who likes a shirt that much? Where you're like, gotta go get the tidy cat.
Once I found a pair of Joe's jeans
Yeah.
at the thrift store. Aren't those nice ones?
Yeah.
Yes. And they fit unlike any jean I had ever worn in my entire life. It was like they were sent from heaven, too, because I was in the Goodwill shopping for, like, picture frames, like something else normal that I get at the Goodwill, and I turn to the side, and out of the corner of my eye, I see these jeans, and they just and they're not even on, they're, like, on the outside of the rack, like on the, when they're not in, but they're, like, somebody just set them on the outside, and they were in my perfect size. I got them for like $4 or $5.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a gift from God.
Was there a problem, though?
No.
Oh.
No odor.
You were going to say.
So, but I think those are the one item I would have absolutely buried in a cat. I would have been rushed out to get. I think I just like wore them till they couldn't wear them anymore.
If you need new threads, you should go to ModCloth. That's where we're getting our clothes and bathing
gross
suits.
smell on those.
Yeah, they're new. They don't have any of that thrift
No
store
worries. No cheese smell.
ModCloth has really fun clothes for a variety of sizes, double XS to 4X. And it's perfect for sundresses, anything that you're wearing out to the beach or...
Have you seen their shoes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
These are adorbs.
Very cute.
I like that cute little vintagey style.
Yep.
I'm into it.
Yeah, and Sarah's went through a real rockabilly phase, so
that's probably why I like them. Yes, it does.
They have a lot of 70s stuff, which I'm into.
That's
like bell
true.
bottoms and things like
the velvet.
that. Yep, my velvet bathing suit is from there. It is gorgeous, that blue one that you guys keep squawking about on Instagram. Go to their site because you'll love how the models are all different sizes too, so you can find things that'll flatter your fit, whatever size you are. And get 15% off your purchase of $100 or more. Go to modcloth.com, modcloth.com, and enter promo code BRAINCANDY at checkout. This offer expires on September 1st, 2018, so hurry up to get that 15% off your purchase of $100 or more at modcloth.com and enter promo code BRAINCANDY at checkout. Again, it expires on September 1st. Get some new threads, yo. Don't go to the thrift store. Although I do love reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
But I don't want any breading.
It?
Wait, did I say it wrong?
I always was recycle, reduce, reuse.
No way. That's not, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
But that was a song. Recycle, reduce, reuse, and close the loop. We can close the loop.
It must be a California song.
It must be.
Reduce, reuse, recycle is just more...
It seems like that's the order you would do things in.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know where you're getting that crap.
Yeah. It's kind of like paper, scissors, rock. What do you say?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, my goodness. I knew this would be an issue.
What are you talking about?
Paper, scissors, rock all day long. All day, every day.
No.
People are going to hate me for this.
You're wrong about it.
I know I am. And people are going to write in and be like, she's wrong. I know. It's fine. But I think maybe it's a California thing. But then people in California would be like, no, you're wrong.
You would always start with the one-syllable word.
Paper, scissors, rock. But that's more fun.
I'm like gobsmacked right now that this
maybe
is even
it's
a debate.
It's probably my family just said it wrong.
But why would they?
I don't know. Where did that come from?
That's not a song.
My mom. We're going to have to ask my mom. I wonder what my mom would say. What is it?
We should call her.
We should.
You could text her.
Yeah, I'll text her. Say, Mom, this is so random out of the blue. Mom.
She'll write right back, though.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Oh, she totally will. Be like, is it paper, scissors, rock, or rock, paper, scissors? Okay. Anyways.
While you're doing that, I have a question that I want answered. This was on the Brain Candy Crush a while ago, and I think I forgot to bring it up, which is, do you think it's sexist to say, you guys? Or, like guys.
Right. I know we've done this. But, I think guys doesn't need to be, okay. In my mind, guys has now become a word that doesn't
genderless?
have a gender, that is genderless.
Yeah.
When did that happen? But it's not.
People would argue that it's the patriarchy and that they're the default human.
Yep. And so we've just thrown women into...
Yeah. So maybe we should start being like girls, but that's... diminutive. So,
but I do love when guys
me too.
I love it. Like, what's his name that I love from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy?
Jonathan
Van Ness.
Oh, Van Ness.
Something Van Ness. Jason Van Ness. Jonathan Van Ness. I think Jonathan. But he always refers to himself as she. She's like, oh, she's ready. Oh, she's looking good in heels.
Yeah,
and I just love
that too about gay culture.
Yeah.
Although it does get confusing for the non-gays because then they're like, wait, it said it wasn't about gender, it's about sexuality.
Oh, God.
You can't confuse the simpletons. But they're fine with guys being collective. And so am I, but that's probably just because I've learned, culturally we're indoctrinated to think it's fine. But if you started calling everybody ladies... if you walked into a room and you're like, okay, ladies, then they would think you just meant ladies.
Yes, they would.
So what to do? You know what I'm saying? What's the answer?
There's no other word
We
that's
can't change the world.
collective, like what? How do you refer to like?
Right.
I'm
Humans.
Can you imagine if you were that person? Okay, hey, you humans. It kind of implies that I'm not
I guess
one.
you could say people. Hey, people.
Oh, I do like that. Oh, look, I already get 3 little dots coming up. My mom's answering already.
You probably led her.
I didn't. I said, okay, for the podcast, do you call it paper, scissors, rock or rock, paper, scissors? Here's where we know that I'm wrong. It was autocorrect, it auto-capitalized rock, paper, scissors, but not paper, scissors, rock.
No.
Look.
Maybe that's because you talk about The Rock.
Nope. What, and his last name is Paper,
right.
Scissor?
Have you seen that meme?
No.
It's really funny. Where they have him do this, and they have him do this. The 3 symbols and the peace sign, of course.
That makes me laugh.
Well, she's weighing in. We'll see what those bubbles
this is
say.
long. I mean, okay, Mom.
Do you think you got it right or what?
Not only, I think she's going to say...
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
She says paper, scissors, rock is how we say it, but I've heard both.
We say
it. I wish she would have capitalized we.
Right.
I knew it.
It's us versus them.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to do a poll, you guys.
Okay.
I'm going to do it on
There it is.
social and see what you guys say.
Well, but even
That's
if I
always
get 5% response on the paper, scissors, rock,
You'll get 5%.
I'm going to be happy.
What will you get?
Honest answers, people. What would I get excited
don't
for?
say just to have
Like what percentage would I get excited for?
What do you really think it is? Like what percentage is?
Oh, I think it'll really be like around 13%
Oh my god!
that agree with me.
You
But
weirdos.
if it's anywhere over 25 to 30, I'm going to be thrilled.
Oh my god. Hold on, let me check this off.
Want to hear something crazy that they found? Remember when I told you that story about how they went into the library and they were researching books and they found out that some of them were made of human skin?
Yeah.
Well, they were
Really
researching books and they found out something else.
What?
That there are a couple of books at the Denmark library that are poisoned with arsenic.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's what you were going to tell me last episode.
Yes! About the thing where you were talking about arsenic poisoning.
Do you
and I was
think
like,
on
sure.
purpose or it just was around?
Well, that is the whole thing, is I had to read the whole entire article till it gets to the very last line, and I'm going to summarize it for you. The arsenic was used as in early book printing techniques as a way to stop rats and mice and vermin from eating the books.
Makes sense.
Also would poison you if you touched it. So they recommend that if you're a lover of old books, bibliophile, you should wear gloves because there were people who were getting sick from weird things. And it was an accident they even found it. So they were researching old book binding techniques and they were looking for like zinc and copper and I don't know, whatever else they were looking for in there. And they used this like X-ray light to shine on it. And usually they expect to see colors like purple or whatever, but they shine it on and it like glowed neon green. And they were like, what the hell is that? And they're like, oh my God, it comes up positive for arsenic. This book is like totally poison.
You know what? I bet you in 100 years or something, they'll do the same kind of test on how our receipts have all that poison on them. You know, that ink that they use on receipts and how it's
slowly killing us or something?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was even thinking the same thing about how I eat American cheese every morning in my breakfast sandwich. And I was like, there better not be anything clogging my arteries or poisoning me in this because I have the same thing every single day. That's a lot of cheese slices.
Wait a minute. So you're eating Kraft singles or what?
No, the Horizon organic ones. So like, let's not get cray.
But
American
are they
cheese.
cheese product or American
processed cheese? Like, or I don't know.
Are they basically just like Kraft singles?
Totally.
Okay. And waxy? Or more?
Not as waxy.
Yeah, I think they're a bit better.
Okay, good.
And then what do you put them on?
A bagel thin.
With?
Eggs. And ketchup.
That's a nice breakfast.
It's delicious.
Oh my God.
I don't make it. My husband does for me every morning.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Okay, that's a nice
Having
breakfast.
him at home. Ooh, it's so nice.
And you're worried about the Americanness of it or the the fact that it's wrapped in plastic?
Oh, I didn't even think about the fact that it was wrapped in plastic. Well, now I'm worried about that.
It bums me out that they wrap cheese in plastic because
but it
cheese
would
needs
stick
to breathe.
together.
Well, those slices that need
They do.
definitely need plastic.
I just love how they are when they're melted.
We all do, Sarah.
So good.
That's the least of your problem. That's like that book Hype. It's like,
I shouldn't worry about the cheese.
Yeah, our whole earth is being polluted by
right,
like the EPA in their system right now.
Oh my God.
So you're fine.
Yeah, you're right. Worried about the wrong thing.
I'm feeling a lot better about all my bad choices. Why do you think I've stocked up on Diet Coke all of a sudden?
Oh man, that's right.
You might as well enjoy our
might
last
as well.
few years on the
I was
planet.
thinking about that too. I'm like, oh my God, my husband's almost 40. 40 is like, some would say middle-aged.
Yep.
This has been a real quick go at these first 30-something years. Like, that went too fast. The fact that I'm halfway done is like...
You've had a good run, though.
That's true.
And I mean, you guys got to be married and together.
That is very good and true.
And if you are going to get married, you should register with Zola.
Well, and that's a way to save money and be extra happy if you're going to just, no matter how long you're going to be alive.
Zola is a great, free, easy, and fun website that 500,000 couples have used to register. It takes the stress out of your wedding planning, and it has so many great and helpful tools to help you get info to your guests. Mm-hmm. And also tell your story of your love, whatever, all that jazz.
Well, I love that part, so write that in.
And then you can also register with over 500 top brands, gift cards for travel and things like that. But it goes beyond registry because you basically get your own little website. And other wedding planning sites, they charge you for like all the cute layouts. Like they'll give you like two free options, but
here's the basic
pretty one is
pay like $1 million for this other one.
But they have over 100 beautiful wedding website designs to fit your style, and the registry automatically integrates into Zola's wedding website, so guests can shop and get all the details they need in one place, which is really nice and convenient. To sign up with Zola and receive a $50 credit towards your registry, go to zola.com/braincandy. Anyway, so mazel tov if you're getting married.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look at my list here.
Oh, that was Pepsi. Yeah. That I was like, why is that theme song stuck in my head? Da 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 da. No, the joy of
something.
The joy of.
People are screaming. I love
it's got to be Pepsi.
It does ring a bell.
Pepsi. Is that it?
Sounds
remember
like
when Andy from The Office couldn't remember, break me off a piece of that?
Right.
Cool and creamy. What is the word? And Jim was like, nobody tell him. That was one of the best episodes. And we just had a little bit of that right there.
But we torment people when we do that because they scream at us.
Oh,
we
what
can't
was the
hear
one
them.
that the other week that
we got wrong?
Whatever it was. And they were like screaming at me.
It's interactive.
Something returns. Yeah.
Something returns.
Diminishing the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Yes. And everybody was like, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Speaking sort of about like couples and weddings and stuff.
Yeah.
You know how I love watching Friends reruns, which, because I'm a basic bitch.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about how the Ross and Rachel relationship is kind of like abusive.
Okay. Go on.
I don't know. Like,
who's the abuser?
Good point. Mutual abuse, I guess.
We call that common couple violence.
Yeah. Like, they're not physically violent, but...
Emotionally, maybe?
Kind of.
Maybe, like, manipulative to each other?
And I read this great article on Medium about how the death of American intellectualism was symbolically shown through Ross. Because, like, anytime he tries to talk about anything smart, the whole group is, like, bored.
They're like, boo!
Yeah.
Pretend to fall asleep.
Right. And he's such a fuck-up on the show.
Yeah.
Like, he is a total...
Yes.
Sorry, Linda, fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, he's been married all those times, and he makes bad choices.
Puts on leather pants that are too tight.
He got fired from his job, member, because of the Moist Maker sandwich debacle where he yelled at people.
Remember when he dated a student who was, like, way younger than him? And, like...
Totally
not okay.
Totally.
She was like a child.
Sarah,
yes.
Obviously I can relate to this. If you're not familiar, my first husband was my professor.
Oh my God.
I was 20 when we started dating.
Yeah, that's young.
And he had to have somebody else proctor the final because we were dating already. While I was in the class. Yes.
Okay, yeah. There you go. You had a Ross.
Right, like I get it. Ooh, that reminds me.
Yeah.
There was this thing going around about that phenomenon of like professor student.
Oh my God, tell me what it's about, because I got it too.
Well, it sort of was in the vein of the Me Too thing where like power differential is being explored.
It's totally right.
And people often bring up the Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton relationship, even though it was consensual, the power differential was enormous.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, because as someone who married that man, I definitely did not feel that I was being exploited in any way.
Yeah, right.
And I was super stoked and really into it. And I'm wondering, like, is it then appropriate or is it still not?
I think it's, do you feel like the feeling you got was like, yes, he picked me out of that big student body?
It was extremely validating.
Yeah. That's what I think the thing is. For certain, I think it can go either way. Where it's like,
I'm sure he was validated.
Of course.
Because the problem really is that the things we value in men are success and, power and things like that, which he had. And in women, we value youth and beauty, which a 20-year-old is more likely to have.
Yep.
But I was, I don't know if I would say I was the aggressor, but it was equal.
Oh, yeah.
Aggression from both of us. I don't know if it was exploitation, but I was super into it.
I don't think it's more like
Do you think that it's totally inappropriate of the professor? I mean, I do.
Yeah, I mean,
but what are you going to do?
I'm trying to think at what age I would not, because I think, like, I'm in grad school now.
I don't think it's an age. Oh.
And so I wonder if there were, and this is like, I'm in a female-dominated, but they're all women,
How many male professors
not straight.
are there?
So, there are 1, 2, 3 that I've had.
And like, there is something about it that is attractive. But I don't know. The things that I've been reading on Twitter about it are...
But I can like picture a scenario where, if I think I may be older than one of my professors.
Yeah, absolutely.
So...
Well, because at the time, my professor that became my husband, he was 31.
Oh, that's not that bad.
30.
In my mind, I have him like as 50.
He was 10 years older. He was 30 when we met.
Yeah.
And, had a PhD and was a professor, but, I mean, that's really young.
Yeah.
For a professor.
Totally. That would be younger than me.
Yes.
So then I think,
weird.
Yes, weird.
It's very weird.
So then I think like, okay, well, that's fine. That's like adult. But then there's the power differential, and that makes it... Okay.
Right. So
you're
that's
right.
the thing.
Yeah.
Know.
Did you see Childish Gambino, his PSA that was produced by, oh my goodness, what's her name? She was on Parks and Recreation. She has a famous dad, what's her name? Rashida Jones. Rashida. Oh, so close.
Yeah,
okay, Rashida Jones wrote this, and then somebody else did the animation, but it's like an animated clip about work relationships and about like consent and things like that. And it's Donald Glover who does the narration, and it's really cool.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, I bet you're thinking, I'm not one of those guys. I'm just like, I'm a guy who hugs. And then it says, we don't want that. It like goes through the whole different like types of men. Like if you think that you're like, I'm not that guy, but you're just like the guy in the office who gives the hugs. Here's what the women think about that.
Yeah,
and
we don't want
it's like
hugs.
a breakdown of all the different scenarios, and it's really, everybody should check it out. It's pretty cool.
And so the messages don't do it.
Yeah. And then but the biggest takeaway was they talk about the power differential. They go, okay, so here you're at the office, and maybe you have a crush on your coworker. That doesn't seem that bad, right? Here's when you shouldn't ask her out. You ask yourself a few questions before asking her out. Could this be somebody who, there's a power differential between? Could their job depend on it? It has this whole thing animated, and like it really, it's like fucking black and white,
Really? Because I feel like the opposite. Like it's so confusing.
Well, I think it's confusing when you're in the moment, but I think if you step back and you ask yourself those questions that what the video makes very black. Here's the deal. Is it like this? Then it's a no-go. Mm-hmm. Is it like this? Then that's okay. Right. You know, it doesn't seem like it's, but then there's, you know, feelings and love. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when we started dating, somebody sent an anonymous letter to his head of department.
Get out of town.
And was like,
get out of town.
This professor is dating his undergraduate student. And
do you have any idea who did it?
I can't figure it out because the person said he has a family, but he didn't. Like, he had a daughter, but he was divorced. Yeah. And so I was like, well, he obviously, the person that wrote it didn't know the professor very well.
Right.
And so then I'm like, was it someone from my family?
No, I think it's a former student who had a crush on him.
That's what he said.
I know. In fact, I bet it's one who probably tried, like,
because there was a woman that we saw
offered up herself and he was rejected.
We were out on our first date, and we saw a girl who used to be his student.
That's totally what it is.
I knew from high school.
Oh, 100% that's who it is. Guaranteed.
Okay.
100%.
Wow, she's a bitch.
That bitch.
Because I mean, I thought he was going to get fired.
I would think also the same thing, like, or at least a slap on the wrist, something.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened.
Well, they said he had to proctor the exam, but
right.
I bet they would handle it differently now. I bet they would say,
no, go.
Yeah.
Right. Totally.
It's a different time.
It would turn into something else. Wow. It's crazy.
Boy, how my life would have been different if they had forbidden.
Yeah, you would have still gone after that. You've
Love
been like, try to stop me. Yeah.
You know what else I love?
What?
RX Bar. I love their kind of policy about being like, here's what's in our bars, and it's this, and no BS.
We're all about no BS over
here.
No
BS here at the Brain Candy Podcast. They're these real food ingredients wrapped up in like 3 egg whites, 2 dates, 6 almonds, that kind of thing. And they taste really good, though. You know how, like, so usually when it's, like, healthy, you're like, oh, thank you for this cardboard. Yeah. It's not like that at all. They have sweet, savory, chocolate, fruit flavors, all different kinds. I love chocolate
peanut butter.
11 delicious flavors. And it's great for, like, breakfast on the go, snacking at the office, just throwing in your bag for a flight or going to school. Yeah,
because airport food sucks.
Yeah, post-workout, anything like that. And they have a special deal. If you go to rxbar.com/candy and enter promo code CANDY at checkout, you can get 25% off your first order. And I love that deal, and you can get no BS while you're at it. So that's rxbar.com/candy and enter promo code CANDY.
Yeah.
Any hoodles. I was reading about... did you see that 30-year-old guy that refused to move out of his parents' house?
Oh, my gosh.
We have to talk about that.
So funny. And they were like, guess what we're doing? We're suing you, or taking you to court to kick him out.
What? Did you see any interviews with him?
Yes.
What do you think about him?
That he's gross and that he is, like, that is the problem.
I don't know, though, because something about him seemed... like maybe he had a special need?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think what you're seeing is not that. People who are like research spectrum disorders and things like that, don't confuse somebody that's on the spectrum for somebody who's understimulated.
Okay.
And if you're the kind of person who's lived in a basement for forever, who only want, like,
oh my God, he was
limited,
like zombified.
Yes,
you're right.
That's what it is. It's understimulation for a long time.
I am
and
fascinated.
A lack of social skills.
Well, God bless those parents because they did some tough love.
They did the right thing, because that's what he really needed years ago, was them to say, get the heck out of the house, go play outside, go interact with kids, even if whatever it is, go talk to humans, get off the video games. And if he turned into that is that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if you ask him what the last book he read is, I guarantee you it's like some manual to a video game, not an actual book that, like, so if you don't stimulate if you don't use it, you lose it. Right. He's losing it.
Yeah, he seems to be.
That's it.
You're right. I think I should have thought of that, but to me, I was just like,
you're like, something's
going
off,
on.
Right?
Yeah,
and I'm seeing this in people. Like, you can see it in. You have conversations like
mostly men.
Yes, And I see, oh my God, like I've been grocery shopping later in the evening, like after I get off work, and it's the guy who has 12 Mountain Dew Code Reds and Gushers in the checkout line, and he's wearing sweatpants and his flip-flops. And I'm like, this is depression, and this is like, it's a whole bunch of stuff at work. Isolation.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my, like, take
Why
on it.
don't they want to get out, though?
I think it's maybe part of it's social anxiety. Maybe it's rejection. Maybe it's like, I think a lot of times people are socially rejected in an atmosphere like elementary school, and then they find connection online. So then all of their relationships, and we know if it works great at a certain point, and then it's like the word that I couldn't remember, the law of diminishing returns, where at a certain point when your relationships become primarily online, you lose that social connection, and it creates this isolation where they're relationships, but they're not relationships where you're getting real people feedback. And so you can't really have social connection through a screen.
Right.
What are you thinking? What are your wheels turning for right now?
Because it's interesting to me how people do react to problems in totally different ways.
Yeah.
So if that were me, I would be inclined to be like, I'm going to go to the gym every day and I'm going to work out so that I look different, or whatever it is that you're afraid you're going to be rejected for. Like if you're afraid you're not successful enough, okay, well, I'm going to be successful. Like my thing, which can be a bad thing too, like being stubborn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're like, I'm going to prove them wrong.
Yeah. Where it's like too
that's
much.
Good. That's motivation.
Like it can have a good side where you're like, I'm going to do it.
And I think that comes from you having to struggle a little bit, and you not having a life that was handed to you, and you didn't have parents.
Well, that's how you are too.
Same.
Yeah.
But I think this guy's parents catered to that behavior for a really long time and thought, oh, how sad, my son doesn't have friends. I'm going to do what he wants me to do to make him feel, or maybe something like, I remember what it was like to not have friends. I'm going to, whatever, fill his need in a wrong way. And finally they were like, that's it. I've had enough. I realize we've done this.
And some parents never have enough.
No, they never do. My father's parents. My dad still lives with his parents, and people think he's a little off.
Oh my God. You're so right.
Uh-huh.
I love this show because it really does fill in the gaps of things that I can't always put the pieces together about. But you're so right about all that.
I know.
But why is it more men?
You know, I was thinking this because the World Series of Poker is on right now, and I'm obsessed with it. And I've no joke watched 4 hours every night of poker because it's like psychology and people and gaming.
Yeah.
And I love it, you know? And so it like hits all of those. And Landon and I like watching it together. So it's like perfect. And you can watch it and tune in and tune out. You don't have to really be paying attention. I could be reading a book while it's on in the background and still enjoy both. So this is sparked a lot of conversation between, me and my husband about
the personality.
Yes.
Okay.
And the kind of people who are playing and why there are so many men. And when you're able to devote that many hours to something, like women, I think, crave more of those. Maybe it has something to do with us being more verbal to begin with, where most of our relationships are based in a lot of verbal exchange. And men are more taught a different, more like analytical interaction with the world. So they're able to get fixated on that the same way we would get fixated on hanging out with their girlfriends or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just is like and you can see it in the players. There are players who, what did I call it? I said there's a difference between the art and the science of poker. And you can see the players who have the science down, but not the art, because that art is in the social exchange. And you can see the players, like there was a player last year who was an amateur who had only ever won $1,000 playing poker ever. And he was like 7th in the final table and ended up leaving with like $5 million, something like that. But he had the art down because he was not a professional poker player. He was like very gregarious and outgoing and had this like blazer that had a bunch of different patterns on it, and he wore a funny hat, and he had the personality, but he didn't know all
I can't believe he won $5 million.
Yeah. He is like a grandfather of 7. He's like an English guy who's just adorable. Everybody loved him. They put him at like the main table this year because you just love to watch him because he's so cute. And he was like the best, and he never won any money.
How much is the buy-in?
10,000.
Why are we doing that? Like, couldn't we save all year and like do it just for shits.
Oh, why aren't we?
Yeah.
Dude, some people sponsor people to go do it. We need to get a sponsor to have us in.
Hello.
We will wear whatever logos you want us to wear.
We went to Sarah and I participated in a poker tournament and had a grand old time.
Oh my God, it was so fun. I always bring that up and I'm like, hey, you know who I play poker with? This person, this person. Even if they weren't at my table, they were just in the room. I'm like, yeah, I totally played poker with Ray Romano.
Ray Romano, was he there?
Well, he's out. I think he was. And also he's playing at the World Poker Tour right now.
You're kidding.
Yeah, he's in. There's also another woman who is a soap opera star who's doing incredible.
Cool.
And I'm like, if they can do it.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, sure.
We were really good at it.
I thought so too. We were really good. Mm-hmm. Landon was watching me play and I said something, I don't know what. I used some poker term. He was like, okay.
Yeah.
Since when did you know how to play?
We played every week.
That's what I told. And it's like we weren't together during that time. So he has no idea that I have a whole poker life. I even told, I have one of the World Poker Tournament chips that I was gifted from somebody. And I was like, I have I know about poker. So what's up?
Right.
So what we were saying is there are a bunch of weirdos who play.
In some.
Some.
All right. That's all for today, guys. It's been good fun.
Yeah.
All right.
See you later.
It's hot as hell in here. Bye-bye.
Woo.
Bye-bye. This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.